Please insert drink and hit play. Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You have John Daniels here. Welcome to BlueRayDismay. Tonight I am flying solo. My two counterparts are not with me. For those of you that have tuned in before, it's usually the Right Honorable Javier and also Johnny Walker. But tonight it's just me, guys. So, okay, I'm doing Alien Resurrection. Came out in 1997. I'm not going to go through the whole, I'm not going to do the whole commentary on the film. What I'm doing here is a fifth of, so I'm just going to bounce around back and forth on why this movie was good or why it wasn't good or both. Anywho, just to give you a breakdown, this movie takes place 200 years following Alien 3. And the way it came about was they took Ripley's, blood or whatever on Fiore on ice or whatever the hell it is, the planet that she was on, the prison planet that she was on from Alien 3. They got blood and they basically reconstructed her. And yeah, it took them a few tries. They came out like deformed, like 7 different versions before they could actually get like an 8th full version of her, which contained the embryo or the alien, the queen alien, which she had in her in Alien 3. So, this movie I personally like this movie. It's kind of cool. I don't think my two counterparts are as enthusiastic about it, but I thought it was a good flick. I think it's pretty cool. Let me see who the director is. Let me see my little cheat sheet here. Director Jean-Pierre Jeunet. Writing credits go to Dan O'Bannon and Ronald Shusett, I think. Okay, first scene here, military vessel, and they kind of bounce right into this movie. It's pretty cool. They're already, I guess the first scene is where they're operating on this 8th version of this reconstructed now Ripley, who is half alien, half lab grown human. So she's like a hybrid freak. She has and contains a lot of the benefit and powers of alien, but it's also susceptible to human kind of maybe emotion, instinct, if you will. She's still trying to get off the planet and she still knows that she has to eliminate this species. So it's a kind of a cool, internal little, conflict for her. And one of the benefits is the aliens, they won't harm her because they feel that she's with them or one of them or whatever it is. So it's kind of later in the movie, you'll see if you bounce around, you'll see that they actually don't, she's at a point where she's kind of captured and she could be eaten by there's another alien who was born and not from the traditional egg face hugger to alien plant, but it's born from a womb or something, because the queen alien in the beginning here that came from Ripley has a new reproductive system, or that basically hatched this thing from a womb because it I got something from Ripley, who knows what, I don't know what, but it's kind of crazy, kind of weird. First scene, they are pulling the alien out, which is kind of cool because if you think about it, if you compare it to the first Alien movie, it took forever, a whole hour and change before you got wind or you saw the first alien. So here this is the 4th, version everyone's seen, everyone's heard about it. They had aliens with the all-out warfare in the second one. So they kind of just jump right into this one, which I like. I think it's cool. You got Ron Perlman. Let me go through some of the actors here. Ron Perlman, Sigourney Weaver, of course, everyone knows. Ellen Ripley. Winona Ryder as Call, who's the new droid. Brad Dourif, who's this evil scientist dude. Dominic Pinnon, who's Vreeze. He's the, I think that's the wheelchair guy. Gary Dourdan, who's Christy, the black dude with the dreads. And then Michael Wincott, who's Elgin, who's the captain of the pirate crew or the salvage crew or whatever you want to call them. Kim Flowers, who is the lady co-pilot next to Elgin in a lot of the scenes. And then J.E. Freeman, who's Ren, rest in peace. So yeah, cool little cast. Came out in 97, and again takes place 200 years plus after the fact. And we're still at the first scenes here. They kind of show Ripley as in this cocoon state. Kind of just very kind of mother-esque, I guess. She's kind of they even show her breaking out of this plastic bag, which is her, I don't know, her caterpillar form thing coming to life or whatever. I don't know. I think it's kind of freaky and kind of cool. Music's very dramatic. Let's see what else here. So yeah, if I had to rate these movies, if I had to rank them, I think a lot of people disliked this movie like as their least favorite as far as the original franchise, which is Aliens, Alien 3, and then Alien Resurrection. I think this movie is pretty cool just because of the graphics, like some of the little detail. For example, all the ships in the movie, those aren't like CGI at all. Those are actually models, like models that they used, and they, of course, they did whatever they had to do with camera effects. But that kind of thing is pretty. I appreciate that kind of thing. So very cool there. They got cool points for that. So if I had to rank them, I think Alien 3 was kind of slower. I wouldn't say it's boring, but it definitely, you got to be patient with that movie. There's no it's kind of crazy how it came off from Aliens years after. Aliens was like a full out war. You had colonial marines busting in, going onto the planet, and going like World War III on them, right? And then you go to Alien 3, which is a much more melatonin, much more like slower kind of drama almost, if you will. It's not really like a horror thing, sci-fi horror thing. I think it's more of it's basically like a drama. And it has a lot to do with the internal conflict because Ripley has landed on this, prisoner planet, and all the dudes there are now threatened because they swore whatever. They swore to repent for all their sins and all their blah, 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 all their crimes, whatever. No one cares. And then she pops up and they're like, oh yeah, forget all the things that we said we were going to do. Let's go ahead and assault this girl. So real weird, real freaky. You had the conflict between the prisoners and her, the conflict between her and the alien, the conflict between the people, Weyland Corporation sending Bishop droid to come retrieve the alien. So it's a bit of a mess. It is okay. Not that bad. So again, if I had to rate it, I think probably I would select Alien Resurrection over Alien 3. So in my order, I would go number 1, Alien, the original. I would go Aliens for my second pick, Alien Resurrection as the third one, and then Alien 3 is the fourth one. Not that Alien 3 is bad, but Alien 3, again, just requires more patience. You got to be really kind of I think you have to be like an Alien fan almost to really kind of enjoy that movie to a great extent. I mean, even the Alien fans, I'm not sure that they were big fans of it anyway, but still, definitely must own all of them and must watch at least annually. So that's my take as far as ratings within the franchise. And I'm not even going to go into Aliens versus Predator, which I think came out in 2004, because even though they obviously take the Alien the Alien name, blah, 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 and put it in the Predator movie. You could link it, but it has nothing really to do with they don't mention, aside from the fact that they have Lance, I think Hendrickson is his name, Bishop. Aside from the fact that they have Bishop in that movie, there's no real direct link as far as story-wise goes back to Ellen Ripley, etc. in this original 4-film feature. So the Aliens versus Predator, I think it was entertaining when it came out. Kind of cheesy. And the second Aliens vs. Predator Requiem, I think that was just horrible. I don't think I've ever seen that movie, but I heard it did terribly. And then I remember in the first one I was watching in the movies, the fact that the girl, the ice skating girl, the little ice lady, captain lady, she teams up with the Predator. Some dude in the movie actually yelled out "Are you shitting me? The Predator is going to team up with this girl now to go hunt the Queen Alien. Are you freaking kidding me?" Right? So that was kind of hilarious. So definitely cheesy, cheesier. And then also I know we're on the Alien segment right now, but while we're talking about it, I'm going to mention the Predators in that movie. The Predators in that movie also very cheesy, very tacky. They growl and grunt and they get angry, right? But if you remember the original Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger back in the 80s, he did none of that. Yeah, he was a big ass dude, huge, but he was stealth mode. I mean, they couldn't even the trained Green Beret people, trained Arnold, his whole squad, they couldn't find him for I don't know how many day or hours into the whole story. They couldn't see him, they couldn't trap him, they couldn't find him. Finally, Carl Weathers was able to spot him because he let his little yellow light eyeballs glow in the dark or glow in the daytime when he was clanging onto a tree. So again, the aliens or the predators that they put in Alien versus Predator, super cheesy, super tacky. They use like some big football dudes that are, grunting and growling, and they get angry, and they're all, they show force, which I think kind of does away with the original, style of the true Predator. So yeah, that's my take on Alien vs. Predator. I'm done with that. Let's see here. What else? Okay. I'm at the scene here now where this evil doctor dude, the scientist guy, he's eating with Ripley, trying to tell her, what to do, or like, hey, this is a fork. And she's like, oh, fuck. So it's kind of funny. I'm probably just going to bounce forward here. Give me 1 second. Bounce forward a little bit. Going to chapter 6. Okay, and now they're introducing the Betty, which is the vessel that's used by the pirates who stole the cargo. The cargo is like a bunch of humans that these scientists, this marine vessel, the marine ship's going to use to implant aliens in. So it's a really weird, distorted story. It's definitely cool. I like it. Let's see what else I got here. I got my little cheat sheet here. As far as the storyline goes, Alien apparently took place in 2020. Now, I think they were asleep for 2 years, and when they were dispatched to LV-426, which was they were redirected to the planet because of the unknown signal that was coming off of it. They had to investigate the signal, not knowing whether it was truly a distress signal or not. They had to go investigate. So 2122, I think, was the timeline of Alien. Very cool. Now, after that, fast forward 57 years, because at the end of that, she was lost in space, literally. In the movie Aliens, they have Burke, who's like this real snotty dude, like this corporate vulture guy. And he's like, hey, by the way, what do you remember? Do you remember anything? Because we just caught you 50 years later. And she's like, holy shit, what the hell? So fast forward 50, I think it's about 57 years. Add on to, 2122. So now we're at Aliens, and you're at the year 2179. They go into Alien 3, I believe, almost immediately after the setting of Aliens in 2179. What happens is her little pod is dispatched or like ejected from the main ship because there was like a malfunction, there was a fire, there was something going on. So she was ejected along with Newt, the little girl that she saved from Aliens, and a stupid cat, I think. There was like a cat, her, Newt, Corporal Hicks, and Bishop. And that is like the premise for Alien 3. Now, they don't all make it, of course. Some die, some don't. They don't know. I mean, they go into details of how they die. I'm not going to go into that. But Alien 3 explains who died where, how, who, when, what, whatever. And at some point in Alien 3, Ripley re-engages. She goes to the junkyard or whatever, like plugs Bishop back in. And Bishop confirms to her, hey, there was an alien life form on the vessel or the pod or something. And that's how Alien 3 kind of evolves into like the oh shit story. I got one in me. Right? So, okay. Alien 3, 2179. Fast forward 200 years to Alien Resurrection, 2379, right? So the year it takes place for this movie, Alien Resurrection, 2379. And as we go throughout the movie, you'll see that they are successful in basically breeding, taking out the queen, like feeding her, making her huge, and breeding, I think about 12 different aliens plus the queen. Plus you get that weird green monster, like stand-up alien. He like stands up like a human or whatever. And he's like a half human alien. I don't know what. So kind of cool. And then after this film, it goes into Ridley Scott comes back to direct Prometheus, which is supposed to be the prequel to the original Alien. And the year, I don't think I have the year for Prometheus. I do have the year for Alien Covenant. Alien Covenant, the year there is 2104, which is before 2122, the first Alien. So I guess that kind of makes sense. So that the timeline is pretty believable. It's okay, and you can follow it basically. Again, don't consider Aliens versus Predator or Aliens vs. Predator 2. Those are complete side stories. You can call them side hack movies. You can call them money go grabbers, whatever. I don't think they did very well. They're kind of cheesy and, but whatever. Let's see what else I got here. Okay, so we're at the scene here where now basically the crew from the Betty, the pirate crew containing Winona Ryder as Cole and everyone else, they're boarding. They're scanning them here for like any weapons. And they're basically like, yeah, no, whatever. So let me kind of just fast forward here. We got the exchange between General Perez and the captain of the pirates. He's handing over a bunch of money, and Captain Dude is going to hand over the cargo. Let's see what else here. There is a point where all shit breaks loose, and one of the cheesy scenes, there's a couple of cheesy scenes here in Alien Resurrection. One of them is with General Perez. And again, I'm bouncing around here. I'm just fast forwarding through the movie, whatever. One of the scenes with General Perez where he gets like the alien ejects its interior mouth like through his skull, and then General Perez kind of peels off part of his brain or guts or whatever the hell is there, and then he looks at it cross-eyed and then falls over or whatever. So that's a cheesy ass scene in this movie. Okay, that's a cheesy as hell. I mean, I get in fact, I was listening to the director's commentary, and the director loved that scene. And the studio, the owners are like, yeah, cut this shit out, right? They were right. So they went to an audience screen. They screened an audience. I don't know if it was for that, 10-second segment or they showed a larger clip or whatever. Anyway, audience agreed with that scene where he pulls out his own brain and, so they kept it, whatever, who cares? Another cheesy ass scene in this movie is Christy, black dude, dreadlocks. They have them like pretty much there's a guy that's got him. He beat him to the punch. He's got the back of a rifle to his head. And Christy decides to defend himself by shooting a bullet up to like one of the ceiling pipes or whatever. And he strategically shoots it so it bounces off ceiling pipe 1, bounces off ceiling pipe 2, and then directly goes into the dude's bulletproof helmet, thereby killing him. So, for anyone that's ever shot a gun before, like anybody that's even think about shooting a gun, that never, ever, 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 ever worked. Never in a gazillion years, unless we have some type of alien technology with a magnetic system, whatever, and breaks the laws of physics. That'll never happen. It was stupid. It was a cheesy ass scene. It was, I don't know. They used it for whatever, for fun and giggles. Yeah, haha, we get it. The bullet, it's a magical bullet that comes out of nowhere. It goes 1, bounces off 2, then goes down to 3 into a bulletproof armored like helmet. How does that make sense? It doesn't. But so what? Okay, so that's another cheesy scene. Let me see what else I got here. Got my little notes. That's pretty much it. I like the fact that they have Ron Perlman. He's a total badass in this movie. Another weird ass scene was when he goes and kisses the little wheelchair dude at the end. I don't know what's up with. I get it. I don't know. Maybe I don't get it. But he kisses the dude when they land, when they're approaching Earth, or when they successfully take off in, I think, was it the Betty? Yeah, they go back to the Betty at the end of the movie and they take off and he kisses him. I guess he's so overwhelmed with joy that he doesn't care. Plus, there was reference earlier in the movie, in the middle of the movie, that Ron Perlman, whose name is Johnner, had intercourse with the robot. There was an inference or an assumption or a joke where the wheelchair dude said, hey, ha ha ha, like you never, did whatever with the robot, So there, I don't know who the hell knows what's going on in the year 23, whatever. So there are a few questionable scenes and there are a few cheesy scenes. There's also a lot of cool scenes here. I'm at the scene right now where when Call, the droid bot girl, Winona Ryder, she's basically breaking into Ripley's cell, her holding cell. And, they're going to talk and they're going to have like this weird kind of like little, it's almost like an intimate discussion about what each other's plan is. Kind of weird. So let me just fast forward. I'm going to go to the next chapter here where kind of like all shit breaks loose. Okay. She just left the cell. She's got a rifle to her head and they're going to go take them to the mess hall and where they're going to interrogate them. The army dudes are going to interrogate the crew of the Betty, which it turns into a shit show from here. So this is where it kind of really gets exciting. Excuse me. I like the fact some of the scenes here where they have to go through like kind of like various things. At one point, there's like an underwater scene where the aliens are swimming at them, which is crazy. I think Johnner manages to set off a grenade launcher underwater, which I don't know how that works, but it worked, and it popped off one of the aliens. Very cool scene. I mean, you could tell at this point with the graphics and the way, they're working it. I mean, they're having fun. They're having fun with the alien design. They're having fun with what the aliens can do. So it definitely a lot more dynamic, a lot more crazier than, say, the original Alien or even Aliens, the sequel, which was supposed to be insane, and it was insane compared to the first one. So at this point in 97, they're having a lot more dynamic fluidity, just a lot more fun with what the aliens do, what they can't do. They're swimming underwater. At one point, when they do get out of the water, the crew, when they're escaping, the alien kind of just like fishes himself down and then fishes himself up into kind of climbing the ladder. So they're very tactical and very strategic in how they hunt. I mean, they're very agile, underwater, in water, out of water, whatever. So, and then another cheesy ass scene. I just remember when I'm talking about that scene. Christy, he manages to he gets spit, or his acid venom, and there's acid venom spit on his face, and he is still chilling. He's still moving about. He's still, talking. He's not, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess the acid melted his face, but he unleashes himself from the belt where he's carrying the little wheelchair guy, and he falls in the water and he just drowns himself. I mean, he literally drowns himself because he's not dead. He unleashes his belt. I mean, I don't know. I guess that's like the writer's way of getting one crew member killed quickly without question. But I question the fact that the dude got acid on his face. Okay, yeah, he's burning like hell. I get it. But he's not dead. He manages to unclip his belt, and then he falls. I don't know why. I mean, whatever. Like, the only thing I can reference is Drake from Aliens, the second one, Drake, which was Vasquez's like little BFF or whatever. I think while they're escaping in the second one, Aliens, when they're going through their first engagement with the aliens, one of them gets shot up by Dan Aykroyd. Dan, I think it's Dan. No. Shit, I'm sorry. Bill Paxton. One of them gets shot up by Bill Paxton, I think. And it gets its acid blood all over Drake, the dude that plays Drake. And he got acid all over his face, and they left him. But I don't know if they left him because, again, he had acid on his face and it burned his face off or what. But I'm pretty confident, I'm fairly certain that Drake gets left behind after he had acid squirt all over his face. So I don't know. Maybe it's like, acid that we never see just melt through his eyes, or who knows, whatever. Like, maybe they do truly die, but it's just like something for question. So I questioned that in this movie, and I questioned that in that second movie back then, way back when. So, okay, going back to this film here. We are now at the scene where evil scientist dude, who's played by Brad Dourif, he is about to get caught and cocooned by the aliens. Right? They just grabbed his face, dragged him underneath this melted floor, and now we're going back to a scene where they're interrogating, the military's interrogating the crew of the Betty, asking like, what the hell are you guys talking about? What's Call, the android girl, yapping about? She knows the whole story. She downloaded all the files or whatever the hell, and her plan was to kill Ripley. And now they're going to evacuate. So we're coming up to the scene where General Perez rips his head out or whatever after he gets, bit on the back of the skull by an alien. So yeah, that's where it is. Let me see if I can fast forward. 1 second, guys. Okay. Walking. Yeah. Trying to see here. I mean, there's a bunch of cool little scenes here. It's funny. They run into like this dweeb dude who their plan is to freeze him. He was part of the crew that the Betty stole. They basically hijacked their ship. He manages to wake up. He still has the alien inside of him. So they're debating on whether or not to shoot. Throughout the movie, they're debating on whether or not to shoot his brains out or to try and get him to the ship and somehow freeze him in order to prevent him from popping this thing out. So pretty funny. There are some cool, pretty jokes. There are some jokes about this between Sigourney, Ellen Ripley, and him, etc., whatever. All right, fast forwarding here. They're making their way back, and this vessel is called Father. The interface is called Father. If you remember in the original Alien, the Nostromo, I think, was the vessel. The interface that they used in that vessel was called Mother. So Mother in the first one, this fourth one here, they call Father, which again, kind of funny. Let's see here. And then the Covenant, I think in Covenant, they call it Covenant. I think the interface, I think it's the same as the name as the vessel. Or no, it's not. I can't remember. I don't know. Anyway, fast forwarding through this movie, they're making their way through, and now we're at the scene here where Brad Dourif, the evil scientist dude, is cocooned. He's basically mumbling, rattling off, stats or whatever the hell, behavioral attributes of this would-be half-hybrid alien coming out of the womb, which I don't get, because, I mean, the scene is believable, but if you start to question it, you start to say, okay, if they built Ripley, they created her in a lab, basically to pull what she originally had in her in Alien 3, which was a queen. Okay, so they replicated that. I guess the evil scientist dude is explaining it here in this scene, where due to the cross whatever, I mean, I still don't get it. I don't know. I have to listen to it. I have to listen to it like just without talking, just fully listen to this one scene. But I guess part of her, part of rebuilding Ripley, one of the benefits was that she gets the alien stuff, like traits, and then the queen now, in addition, I guess, to laying like 12 eggs. She must have laid 12. She laid all those eggs, legs, face planters into the cargo. And now, but this one scene here toward the end where she's got this disgusting, this just hideous like womb thing, just like bulging out. And you get this green alien that stands up on its own, making baby noises. How cute. So, kind of weird, kind of freaky. It's believable. I just, again, I have to like listen to the evil scientist dude's explanation to make me stop asking questions about it. But yeah, it's like a freaky little thing. And if you remember it toward the end of this movie, this green alien or whatever, yellow alien, whatever the hell it is, the alien that stands up on his own 2 feet, it gets sucked out of like a window in space through like a quarter-size hole, and his guts start slipping reverse, inside out, like out of this window. It's like the nastiest scene you'll ever see. I think it's probably the nastiest scene in the Alien franchise, where this thing's guts start reversing out a window going through space. So it's we got the evil scientist guy here going, "You're a beautiful, beautiful baby boy," right? And the green thing's gonna go sniff him out and eat his head off, which rightfully so. Why wouldn't you say that to a mumbling, bumbling scientist guy? Oh, and another cool thing about this scene here is baby boy in green manages to rip off the queen's like mouth, which is also just hideous. So very cool scene. Kind of, again, you don't really get, oh no, not the mouth. It rips off the queen's face, the top of her mouth. Like, how their head is like a jaw, basically. It completely shreds the top of it off. And now Ripley is like, oh shit. She's retreating into the disgusting guts and, I guess, I don't know. This is like their beehive or whatever. This is like the little area for like, I don't know. This is like the nastiest thing. But yeah, she's going to have to like slip away, and escape and evade this green thing who's making baby noises. Oh, how cute. Okay, let me fast forward here. 1 second. All right, we're at the scene where she's running to the Betty, and she's going to jump this long platform. She makes a long leap, and she's going to make it here in just a second. But yeah, let me see how long I'm going on so far. 1 second. Wow, 30 minutes. Okay, I've been yapping for a long time. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up, guys. If I had to rate this on a scale of 1 to 10, I would rate this... I'm going to have to say, I'll give it an 8. I'll definitely give it an 8 out of 10. Number 1, I'm an Alien fan. Number 2, I thought it was super cool the way they kind of... they just made these aliens really, really awesome. They kept true to their form, right? They kept true to how they depicted them in the first and second movie. The first and second movies of this franchise, they kept them looking the same. They kept them, kind of similar as far as how they moved, what they did. And then they just added them, added the agility and the dynamic factor behind it, where they can go through, swim, they can leap, all kinds of stuff. Versus Alien Covenant, which don't even get me started on, because those aliens sucked. First of all, I get it. Okay, they're not the true alien because they didn't come from the goddamn egg. They were basically spore born, I think. Yeah, because the spore came out in Covenant, the spore went into the dude's ear. Then the dude started bleeding profusely all over the place. Then he exploded this little hyena of an alien, right? It's like a hyena. It's first of all, it's silver. It's running around like some stupid hyena. It's dumb. It's bulletproof because they shot 90 rounds from a fully auto rifle, multiple people. And the thing is getting hit all over the place, boop, 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 and then boom, and just gets up and runs away. I don't know what the fuck that thing is. I don't know what the hell Ridley Scott was thinking about Alien Covenant. I don't care, and I hate it. Actually, yeah, I kind of hate it. I think I give it a 5 out of 10 on my last rating. But anyway, going back to this. I like the way the aliens are kept true to their form. 8 out of 10 if I had to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10. I gave you my ranking as far as the franchise goes. It goes Alien, Aliens, Resurrection, and then Alien 3. That's for the original 4. I'm not going to mix in... Well, I guess I could compare Prometheus and Covenant. I really, 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 really enjoy Prometheus and not so much Covenant, but I don't even know where to throw it in this mix. I'm not even going to think about it right now. But yeah, guys, check it out. This is a cool little flick to watch. Just, even if it's once a year or whatever, it's just entertaining. The dynamic cast, the way the aliens are portrayed in here is very different than the first two as far as, their strength and their power and their agility. So check it out. Anyway, John Daniels signing off. Highly recommended this movie to be seen again annually. Check it out. I don't know, rent it, video on demand, whatever, or get the Blu-ray, the whole set. You should get 1 through 4. But yeah, that's it, guys. Tune in next time, and thanks so much for tuning in.